right, we're not going to lie to you. This is take 3. I was dressed in a suit and tie, knocked over the camera, and then take 2, we forgot we were recording. So I'm just going to go in front of the camera for a second.
There he goes. Florida Gators.
Champions.
He says chomp chomp.
National champions.
Not sure if you guys can hear him or not, but chomp chomp.
Now you guys can hear me for sure. The Florida Gators are the national champions, winning the NCAA men's basketball tournament in 2025. Gators' 3rd title in school history. Chomp freaking chomp. Yeah, Gator boys stay hot.
Yeah. There we go.
Shout out to Florida. Yeah, they did their big one throughout the whole tournament. They did their big one. Walter Clayton Jr., nasty. I doubted them. They proved me wrong. Shout out to Florida Gators.
Yeah. They won me some money, man. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'll tell you that. So
Shout out all my Gators, Jonah,
Gators.
Kylie, all the other Gators I met. Congratulations
Gators,
to you guys. I live vividly through you as a fellow Jordan school, but the Gators now might be my 3rd team. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
They're so much fun. They're so much fun, bro.
Rooting for them,
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I can get down with this. I can get down with this.
Yeah, dude, they were a team.
you know?
They were a team of destiny this year. I'm sure we're about to talk about that.
I like saying Gators.
Gators. Them Gator boys stay hot. How we feeling before we hop into it?
Feel good. I know it probably looks like I just got married or some shit. I didn't. I'm just dressed like this.
Married to the game.
Married to the game,
Shout
son.
out Double A.
Nah, I had to do some stuff for class, so that's why I'm dressed like.
I also had to.
He changed.
I wish I got to do it in my Florida thing. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he knocked the camera over, so it's whatever. But yeah, without further ado, let's talk ball. All right, recap of the Final Four first. Great games, obviously. We talked about that though. All number 1 seeds. They were the best 4 in the country all year. And Final Four lived up to the hype. Do we want to start with Florida Auburn?
Yeah, let's start off with that.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Florida defeats Auburn 79-73 on the way to the national championship. They would obviously later on secure and win that national championship, but what a game from Walter Clayton Jr. Just absolutely showed. He showed to me he's an NBA draft prospect for sure. I feel like what you looking at?
Someone
over there?
just nominated me to be the speaker at commencement. Or not commencement.
Convocation.
Convocation.
All right, we'll worry about that in a second.
I'm wondering who's voting for me to speak. Was it you? Was it you?
No.
Nah, I nominated Chris.
you nominated Ung?
Oh my god.
Yeah, Walter Clayton Jr. Might be a little recency bias, but that was one of the best individual March Madness runs I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Seen. I know I'm young.
Oh yeah.
I know we're young. 134 points in 5-6 games, whatever it was. 34 in that Auburn game was his career high after getting 30 against Texas Tech. Just think about game by game what Walter Clayton did. Let's start with playing the defending back-to-back national champions in UConn. You're trailing by as much as 8-10. Walter Clayton Jr. puts the team on his back. 2 late threes. Florida wins that game. Gets Maryland, trash team compared to Florida. Let's be honest. And Florida kicked the doors off him. Texas Tech. You're down 9 with 3 minutes left, and Walter Clayton Jr. wills you to victory, keeps your season alive, hitting ridiculous shot after ridiculous shot.
Yeah.
And then in the Final Four, look, we'll talk about the Natty in a second. Like, it wasn't his best game, but he still had some clutch and ones. Against Auburn, everybody knew that the team playing Florida, their number 1 priority would be contain Walter Clayton Jr. Walter Clayton Jr. went off against Auburn, 11 for 18, 5 for 8 from deep. He hit the first 3 of the game. Hit some other ridiculous shots. Auburn didn't know how to stop him. And I don't think any team knew how to stop him. And so that's the number 1 thing. And number 2, and I'll talk about it once we talk about just Florida winning the Natty, Auburn wanted revenge. Florida went into the plains and smoked them.
Yeah.
They smoked them after being down by as much as 12 in that game.
Yeah.
We were in Phoenix during it. And then they came back without Elijah Martin and won. So it's an Auburn team that got up by as much as 9 in the second half. And then Florida, like they did all year, took a punch and they
all
responded.
tournament long too, except
year.
for round of sort of 64, really.
Yeah, dude, it goes further than that all year. They played North Carolina on December 17th in Charlotte. All Carolina fans, Carolina storms back from down 16. They take a 5-point lead, and it's like a road game for Florida. They're so composed, take a lead on the Walter Clayton Jr. and won. Florida wins that game. And they did it all year, no matter where they were. And no matter what challenge they faced, they won. And it started with that Auburn game. But Walter Clayton Jr. was great. Elijah Martin was great. They rebounded well. Janai Broom, he was fine, but yeah.
Yeah.
Florida's just. I knew they always had depth, but it's more than just the depth. It's the fact that they can get whatever they need throughout certain players. You look at Walter Clayton, like you said, he's the ultimate player. I mean, you could just get whatever kind of. But I mean, the kind of shots he was hitting, the kind of stuff that Steph Curry does in random games, just sidestep three, shooting from the logo and distance. Yeah, Thomas Howell who gives you like 12 points a game, something like that. But he's a really good wing. He's a good shooter, pretty tall guy, good defender. You got Henlockton who comes off the bench. You've got you got size. You've got everything you need. They competed really well with Auburn. It was really interesting because Walter Clayton had, obviously, you said he had 34 in that game, and I was trying to see if anybody on Auburn was going to slow him down. Auburn's not really defensively minded like that as much as Houston. Right. We'll get to that national championship game, obviously. But that game with Auburn, I think everyone except for Lunga probably had Florida winning. I had Florida winning. It was pretty obvious. And the thing that just impressed me with Walter Clayton just in general is his consistency and his efficiency. It's not like he's taking bad shots because he's missing them. He's taking crazy shots, but he's hitting them. So it's like it changes the trajectory of the game. You watch college basketball a lot of times, a lot of these teams are super inefficient. Right. They can't shoot. They may have a guy who goes for 30, but he's 30 on 25 shots. He's scoring 30 on like 17 shots and going like 12 of 17, 4 of 6 from 3. Like his efficiency is there. So, people have said it. I'm not a draft expert. I can't tell you who should be a first and who should be a second. But this guy is a baller. He should without a doubt be a first round pick, like a high first round pick, just based off what he's done this year. It'd be a disrespect to basketball not to draft him in the first round because there are guys who are good, but he's the best player now, in my opinion, coming into the draft. You could put that up there with Cooper Flagg and Ace and all those guys. Yeah. But past like the, freakishly athletic guys, I think he's up there.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to point at his size and say it's a problem when he's able to make shots the way he did because no matter what Auburn, Houston, UConn, Maryland, Texas Tech threw at him, whether it was a longer guy guarding him, like it was Emmanuel Sharp or Milos Uzan on Monday night, sometimes LJ Cryer, but they wanted length, Clayton was able to beat him. And he did it against Auburn, too, against the long guards. Miles Kelly was following him, Chad Baker-Mazara. He is one of the toughest shot makers, and more importantly, he was the best closer in America. And that's why he won Most Outstanding Player. That's why Florida has the Natty. And whichever team gets him, he's going to be special. He's going to be special.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Moving on to Duke Houston.
Oh boy. Game of the tournament.
What a game.
Game of the tournament. Well, not game of the tournament. I want to say
it's up there.
It's up there.
It's up there. It's up there.
It's one of the biggest Final Four comebacks in the history of the sport.
Yeah. It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there.
All right, Dukies. Let's see how you guys talk about this one.
Yeah. I'm mad.
In my defense, they were supposed to win that game. Obviously, everyone knows they had a 97% chance within the last 30 seconds of the game and just blew it.
My thing is you have to beat the press, bro. Literally you have to beat the press.
Have to.
If they and this goes for all college basketball teams. You have to beat the press. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, talk about it.
It's so simple.
Talk about it.
It's so simple. We've seen Michigan do it against Maryland. And I know I'm a big Michigan, I'm a Michigan homer, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. We seen Michigan do it. And then you also look at what Creighton did against Louisville. That was genius. There are many ways you can easily beat the press.
And the thing that pissed me off was they called a timeout and still turned it over.
It's so simple. It is so simple.
Shire called a timeout and they still came up with that trash. I saw John Shire call a timeout and then they came back and did the exact same thing they were going to do.
Why are you having two guys crash the why? I don't understand. I still don't understand.
The best defensive team.
Why
in America,
are you?
You stay away from the corners.
The best defensive team in the country, and you have your guys running to the corner to grab the basketball.
And also
that just makes no more sense.
And also the turnover where I think it was what's his name, Malik Wilson on Houston.
Malik Wilson.
Malik Wilson hit it out of Cooper Flagg. They were trying to throw it up to Cooper Flagg. You don't inbound the ball right underneath your own hoop.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's rule
You
number
don't.
1. You never do that because that's grounds for either a trap or
don't.
a turnover in an easy bucket, which is exactly what happened. He did it. They tried to throw it up. They flipped it, and then I think Tugler finished on the come through. It's one of those things where you look at it, and I'll let you go in a second.
No, go.
I just have one more thing. You just look at it from a standpoint of you're Duke. You're in a position where you have to win it, and the last 30 seconds is the most important part of the game because you could be up by 12, and in today's basketball, NBA, college, doesn't matter. A lead that small it could be gone in 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And as we saw, they scored 7 in 15 seconds off of stupid turnovers. You can't make these late game turnovers. You can't.
No.
And as a coach, that falls on the Duke players, but it falls on Shire mostly. If you are the coach, you should be able to teach your team how to break the press. You should teach your team how to be able to, in late game, 30 seconds, this is the best defensive team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to inbound the ball, and be able to shoot free throws. And then also, Tyrese Proctor missing that one.
that
was
about
bad.
to bring that up too.
Yep.
You cannot miss that right there.
Okay, this is
Can't miss that
This is
right
one
there.
thing I said. Lunga said, "Oh, you should have had Tyrese Proctor shoot it." Well, I said Tyrese Proctor literally they got the ball.
Missed a free throw.
He had the ball. The man is a 50% free throw shooter in the tournament, and he held the ball like he was a 90% free throw shooter.
Yep.
You pass it to Flag or you pass it to Con Kneppel.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys you should be shooting free throws.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Not Tyrese Proctor, not anybody else. Not Sion James.
No.
Nobody. Knippel and Flag are your 2 free throw shooters, and he held the ball and then missed it. And I was like, why is he holding the ball?
Yep. Tyrese Proctor, you had a really good season. Efficient, whatever you want to call it. Duke fans, remember when he went for 0 against NC State in the Elite Eight? You're going to remember him missing that free throw, too. Yeah. Little anecdote. So I have a friend that goes to Duke, and he's really close to the basketball team.
Yeah.
Plane ride home. Not a word said. Shire watching film of the game. And obviously Shire's going to watch film, but silent on the plane ride. And it should have been more than that because this was more a Duke collapse than a Houston comeback. And look, I'm about to give Houston a lot of love. I also picked Houston. Go check the last episode receipts. I put them everywhere, so I'm not that hard to find. Duke collapse. You didn't break the press. That's huge. 1 field goal made in the last 10 minutes.
That's bad.
1 field goal. It doesn't matter how much you're up. And then the fact that Duke was still up by 6. They were up 67-61 with 30 seconds left. And this is a Duke team that was number 1 in defensive efficiency in the ACC, just held Alabama, the highest scoring team in the country, to 65 points. You're playing a Houston team that scores less than Alabama, and you're up 6. And you turn the ball over, and you mess up a switch, allowing Emmanuel Sharp to hit a 3, and then it's a 1-score game, and then the pressure starts getting to you. Because I think most of us were just like, Duke's winning that, or Duke's going to win the game, especially when they were up 14. Duke collapsed. And we could talk about Cooper Flagg's shot in a second.
Absolutely collapsed.
Duke absolutely collapsed. And for Houston, culture win. Ever since Kelvin Sampson arrived to Houston, the Houston Cougars have been one of the top defensive teams in America. They will work to the last whistle. They'll run your ass off. Houston did not look tired. Duke did.
No.
Houston wanted it more. I'll say it right now. Houston absolutely wanted it more.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
I give all credit to Houston for winning that game because it is not easy to be down by that much in that situation against arguably the best team in the nation. Like Duke,
Yep.
I wouldn't say best rankings-wise, but most talented team in the nation.
I would. Yeah. I mean, they were the most talented team.
Like, that's not easy to be down like that.
Yeah.
And you battle back. And it's also a credit to their defense. I mean, they held them to like 37% shooting in the second half. And I'm reading this article right now. Like, that's 20% lower than what they shot in the second half in their first 4 games of the tournament.
It's crazy.
Like, Houston's defense, man, I'm telling you, all year long has been just absolutely dominant.
Yep.
And nasty and scary. Like, it's scary playing a good defensive team like that.
It just feels like they didn't prepare enough for it, though.
Who, Duke?
Yeah.
No, I think, and that's another reason that I'm glad you brought that up, is like when you've seen, my big thing was Duke has been in like 3 close games all year long.
Yeah.
And that is not good when you have to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And
What
you're
matters.
going to run into some dogs. Like, you're gonna play close games, and I think that was their kryptonite right there. Is they absolutely were not prepared because they have not
been in that.
They
spot
haven't
late.
played that all year.
They panicked.
They haven't played that all year, and they panicked.
I mean,
and
the thing
they
is,
didn't know how to play basketball correctly. The last few minutes.
Yeah.
if you're going to
like that,
if you're going to turn the ball over and panic, you panic where you panic so that you minimize the damage.
Yeah.
You don't throw the ball right underneath your hoop. You toss it all the way to the backcourt, and if you turn it over, then you get a whole fresh defensive set, and you lock up, right? You don't all of a sudden, you don't turn the ball over set. You call a timeout, and then you see it happening, right? And you're like, oh, the 5 seconds are going down. Don't panic and just toss it in there. You don't think the best defensive team in the country is going to grab that and go straight to the rim?
Exactly.
You're wrong. So you throw it out where there's less damage, right? Maybe you throw it up to Cooper Flag on a drag route, right?
Yeah.
Throw it up to him or something. But you don't do that. Like, it's just, and that's Shire. That's not the kids. That's Shire.
Yeah.
Just bad coaching.
Duke had no reason to make that game close. They're up 14 with 8 minutes left. If they kept doing the same thing, they're going to the national championship. I still think Florida beats them, by the way. But we're not doing hypotheticals. But this is what Houston does all year and has done for so long. And Kelvin Sampson said it right after, like, Duke this, Duke that, don't count out the Cougars. There's a reason why they went 34-4 in their first 2 years in the Big 12.
Yeah.
There's a reason they went 19-1 this year in conference. There's a reason why they have huge win after huge win. There's a reason why they blew almost everyone out, not named Purdue, very well-coached team. They wore Duke down. And Duke didn't really try to fix it. Besides Cooper Flag, like, Concanupple was fine. Right, or Knipple, 16, but Sion James and Tyrese Proctor combined for 14.
Yeah.
Kama Maluach, I'll get to him later in the episode. If Duke kept playing the same game, they win or make a few adjustments.
Yeah.
But Houston, they wear you down, and you just saw that's a culture win for Houston. That's such a culture win, and for Duke, I genuinely don't know how people are going to see past this until they win another national championship, if they ever do. And we'll see.
Well, yeah, because this is Shire's first big moment, and he just kind of fell flat in his face.
They also had one of the best freshmen to ever exist in Cooper Flag.
Yeah. So wasted it.
So Rivalry's quit was. I mean, people kind of talked about it. We had a battle with Lunga today in class this morning. Was Cooper Flag shot a bad shot?
No,
absolutely not.
I don't think it was.
I don't know. Lunga, you're gonna see this. You just hate on everything unnecessarily for no reason.
I rewatched it back when we had the talk with Lunga earlier, and yes, he could have when he drove in and he planted his foot on the way to his turnaround. He could have gave it out to Khan with like 8 seconds left, and then darted back to the three-point line or set a screen for Khan, and then they could have built off of that pick and roll.
Very true.
But, I mean, it's also like you're the best player in the nation.
That's not a bad shot.
It's an open he created enough space that it was an open shot for him to take.
That's like,
and it's a shot that you knock down 9 times out of 10. Cooper Flag does, at least.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at the shot.
No, that's like MJ, Bron, or Kobe getting the last shot and the shot being short and hitting a fadeaway. That's not a bad shot. No. It's Kobe, Bron, and MJ. It's just the fact, if the ball goes in the hoop, you're not saying this. You're saying he hit a game winner.
Now, should he may have waited a little longer or used the clock better? Yes. But when you have an opportunity like that, he took the opportunity.
And also on game-winning shots, you're not going to get the open look. Like,
and you're not always going to time it.
Houston.
Yeah,
and you're not against Houston, and you're not always going to time it up right to where there's 2 seconds left on the clock. Like, you eat that clock up. Like, if you see an opportunity, you take it. Especially in that situation, you take it.
The thing is, he highlighted in his argument, and he's not here to tell it, but basically he was like, you have one of the best defenders on you, and you're taking that shot. Well, what do you expect? First of all, you have Juwan Roberts. After Juwan Roberts, you have Tugler. After Tugler, you have Sharp. After Sharp, you have all these defensive weapons. It doesn't matter who is on you. Them being the best defensive team, they could put anybody on Cooper Flag and it wouldn't have mattered. Yep. It really wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have.
I mean, you're never, unless you get an ankle breaker, you're never going to get a clean shot at the last one. They're always going to play locked. It's like the 9th inning. You're never going as a hitter. You're never going as a hitter and a pitcher. You're never going to get the easiest at the 9th. It's the toughest because people don't want the game to end. On the last shot, you're just never going to get a easy, wide open shot. You're never going
against Houston, and you live and die by your best player, especially when your best player is the best player in America. He won Naismith Player of the Year. He won the Wooden Award. He's the consensus #1 overall draft pick. And he was really the only one for Duke creating offense that game. He scored 27 points. Houston really struggled to stop him. And Cooper Flagg in a 1v1 against the best defensive team in America, I'd still take Cooper Flagg 5 times out of 10. He just didn't make that shot. And look, I'm not going to go on record and be like, Cooper Flagg's not clutch because he was over 3 on game-winning shots, because that's true. Like, in all of Duke's losses, yeah, Cooper Flagg didn't make it, but it is what it is.
What it is.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg is the best player in America. And shot clock, sure, whatever. They still had time. I don't know if you kick it out because they would have stayed with Flagg. It's Houston.
Yeah.
You live and die by Cooper Flagg. He got you here. And I didn't think it was a bad shot. I just thought he missed. And Cooper Flagg said it. And Sion James said it after, too. He trusts him 100 times out of 100. Basketball is a tough game. People have field goal percentages 30%, 40%. Some of them don't go in. That one didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hindsight thing, because if you say, hey, if the ball goes in, you're not saying that's a bad shot. You're saying Cooper Flagg, #1 player in the country, hit that shot. But anyway, we should go to the national championship game, because I think we're done with that game.
Yeah, Natty. I mean, man, them Gators. We talked about it in the intro. Them Gators, never weather. Hell of a comeback. I thought they were cooked. I'm not gonna lie. With 8 minutes left, I thought they were cooked.
People keep saying that in this whole tournament. Every single game.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were cooked.
No,
I'm so serious.
But see, that baffles me, because almost every single game, people have been like my mom texted me, was like, "Oh, this game is boring," and then they came back, and I was like, "Well, what do you expect?"
My thing is, they were down 12, and it wasn't about Florida. It's not that I lost faith in Florida. Mm-hmm. When you go down 12 against a defensive team like Houston, like that, I thought it was wraps. I'm not even gonna lie, especially because Florida all game, they had no offensive flow whatsoever. They did not have anything going for them offensively, except for Will Richard just throwing up shots and making them somehow. By the grace of God, Will Richard was making 3-pointers.
But I never felt like Walter. I think that it really changed when Walter Clayton finally started scoring, and they were like, "Oh,
yeah, he's trying to finally warmed up." But
it never escaped my mind that Florida was going to come back, because Florida was too good offensively, and I know just how good Houston's defense is to force all those turnovers on Duke. But the thing I'll say is, regardless of Walter Clayton, Florida's just constructed in a way where they have everything you need to score the basketball.
Yeah, and the way that Houston was rebounding the ball and their second chance opportunities they were getting, I was just like,
but Houston's offense is the problem for me.
They were not. No, their offense is a problem.
That's why I didn't have faith, because you can defend, but you can't score. Eventually, Florida has to score.
But
eventually,
it really wasn't. I mean, yeah, Houston's offense is an issue, but it really wasn't an issue down to the last 5 minutes.
No, but you got to remember, early in the game, it was only LJ Cryer scoring for Houston.
Oh, they were just shooting up threes. They were just shooting up threes all the time. They weren't making them.
LJ Cryer was their only scorer in double digits.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying I didn't feel like it. See, if Houston had LJ Cryer hitting shots and Sharp was hitting shots, and you got, Juwan Roberts has 20, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'd be scared. But Houston didn't have any team scoring where it was like, oh man, they're in that mode. It was always their defense was just so good, and LJ Cryer was keeping them in the game, but Florida was still right behind them. And I was like, if Walter Clayton just gets going a little bit, they'll have faith in each other. And then Elijah Martin took off, and then it was like, okay, now we're starting to see them. I never felt like they were out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were together for the game, and I was obviously nervous. I never thought that Florida was going to get beat up in this game. I always had a feeling they were going to come back.
Yeah.
Coming out of halftime, they tied the game, or almost did, and went on that run. Clayton started scoring. I've been on this train for a while. Florida has had the best backcourt in the country of Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, and Elijah Martin. Elijah Martin caught an absolute body against Auburn. Will Richard led the team in scoring against Maryland, and he kept Florida above water, because this is what Houston does. Houston brings teams into dogfights. The problem is Florida has so many dogs on that team that they're suited up for the fight. And they trailed in the UConn game. They trailed in the Maryland game. They trailed in Texas Tech, Auburn. They trailed in that one. Whenever the Gators were faced with adversity this year, they freaking won. And that is what made them so special. And I wouldn't look at this as a Houston collapse. I think it was only you could keep them down for so long. And Florida's not a bad defensive team.
Yeah,
no, that's the most underrated part of them is their defense.
They allowed less than 70 points a game this year in the SEC, which is a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? And they won the SEC championship.
No, they're not bad. They were ninth in defensive rating in the nation.
Yeah, and look
according
at
to KenPom.
look at the last play. Emmanuel Sharp had a chance to win the game. He didn't get a shot off, and we could talk about that as much as we want.
Walter Clayton was right there.
Walter Clayton put his hand up, and there were so many defensive plays in that tournament for Florida that helped them win. You don't come back from 9 against Texas Tech without getting stops. You don't come back from 9 against Auburn, one of the best offensive teams in America, without getting stops.
Exactly.
Janai Broom started off the game on a heater. I very vividly remember him saying to Alex Condon after he made it the first shot of the game, "I'm here." He only ended with 15 because Florida figured it out defensively. And then your offense is your offense because it's been that all year. And Florida, you could only keep them down for so long. They were the most complete team in college basketball this year. Maybe Duke, but Duke doesn't have a closer like Walter Clayton. And
that's facts.
Chomp, fucking chomp.
That's facts. I feel so bad for Houston though on the other end because it's like, dude, Houston's been so good for so long, and Kelvin Sampson is such a great coach, like the legendary coach in the game, and they always get so close.
Yeah,
so close,
Never can do
and can never finish it off. And that's just draining for a program, man. And a coach, like, that's just draining for Sampson, too, because it's like Sampson's old. Like, it's not like Sampson's young. It's like Sampson's
He's
old.
69.
He would have been the oldest coach to ever win.
Bro. Like, that just, I don't know. I just feel bad. And then Emmanuel Sharp as well. Like, I feel so bad for that.
Yeah.
And it's not even his fault. Walter Clayton just made a play.
They made a play.
Walter Clayton made a very, very smart defensive play and sniffed out that he was obviously shooting a three-pointer, and it just happens. Like, it's not.
Houston's going to be right back here next year. I'm not going to say they make the championship, but they're going to start with number 1 in America. They just got Pop Isaacs from Creighton.
No,
he's a
Houston's going to be
guard.
nice.
They have a really good recruiting class. They have
real good.
They have Chris Sinek. He's a top 10 recruit. Isaiah Harwell, who's
Number
borderline
6.
4-star, 5-star.
Still got Mercy Miller on the bench.
I'm pretty sure that Emmanuel Sharp's coming back. I'm pretty sure Milos Uzan's coming back. If I'm right, I'm unsure about. I could literally pull it up right now. Milos Uzan's going to come back.
If I was Milos, I would come back.
Joseph Tugler's going to come back. So
back.
you're looking at a lineup next year that is Pop Isaacs instead of LJ Cryer and mainly the same team.
You just won't have Jawan Roberts, really.
You won't have Roberts, but what Kelvin Sampson has instilled in this Houston basketball culture, you'll find another guy that has defense.
Yeah.
And Houston's going to be really, really freaking good again. It just, Florida was better.
Yeah. Florida was better.
Them Gator boys stay hot.
Gators. So, congratulations to the Gators, 2025 national champions. I mean, if you even go back to like episode 3, I think 2 or 3 or something, I brought up Florida when we talked about college basketball, I think the first time, and then Jake's been talking about Florida all year. So us here at TalkBall Tweakers have stamped Florida all year long. Just wanted to give us our flowers.
At Gators MBK, when you see this, retweet.
So, retweet that. Move on to the big leagues, NBA.
Yeah.
All right. Last night, what happened in Oklahoma City? Luka Doncic gets ejected for clearly, if you go back and look at the video and the footage, chirping at a fan. The ref thought he was chirping at him and threw him out.
Y'all know my take on
Toussaint, I was gonna throw it to you because we know your take on the NBA refereeing. I'm very quickly just gonna go and say that on all levels, because we didn't even talk about the officiating in the Florida-Houston game. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. But
the officiating for the Houston game,
national championship game.
Oh, okay.
But on all levels, I am tired of the refs getting involved in the outcomes of games, putting themselves and being factors in games. I am sick and tired of it. So, I don't know. I'll throw it to you, Toussaint.
Yeah, honestly, disgusting. I forgot the name of the official. I'm not gonna blast him, but I mean, I remember it was like 2 episodes ago or episode ago. We talked about one thing you would do if you were the commissioner. My number one thing was to change the officiating across the board. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the whole part of athletes jawing is something that we all want to see as fans. You know what I mean? I mean, I want to see Luka jawing at somebody in the crowd, somebody yapping their mouth. I want to see that. And because you are a little egotistical and self-centered, now you think it's about you. No one's talking about you. No one's talking about you. And so, it's just the mentality of the refs. You go in there and you just expect I mean, I think refs seriously go into games looking to tee people up. I truly think that.
Oh, I feel like they're like, oh, I can't.
They're itching to get
they're
people
like, I'm waiting for one of these players to talk shit.
Itching to get
I'm waiting
people
for one of these
texts.
players
They
to
made it
disrespect
about
me.
themselves.
Yeah.
In one of the biggest games of the regular season.
My thing is also, and I just thought about this as you were talking. How does the ref not hear the fan talking shit to Luka?
Yeah, they only hear Luka
in the background. Like, I don't understand. If you go and look at the actually, I'll put the video up right now. Actually, I'll put the video up.
He gets the shot to fall, and there's somebody on the side there, and maybe the official was right in the line.
See,
and
that's
he calls the technical, and Lucas says, "I was talking to this guy."
You go back, like look. You can see the fan is standing right there.
Yep.
Like 2 rows behind where the ref is standing on the court. How do you not hear the fan talking to Luka? I don't understand that.
No, they have selective hearing. They hear.
I
They
don't
only
understand
hear.
that.
They only hear the curse words of the player they're directly looking at. Because if you are in their line of sight and they choose to focus in on you, they only hear what you're saying. They don't hear what the bench. They may hear what the bench is saying.
Yeah.
They may hear what you're saying, and they may hear what the coach is saying. They're not hearing what the people in the stands are saying.
No.
They're not hearing what the people in front row are saying. So anytime you decide to say anything that's even close to in their realm, they take it as an insult.
Yeah.
And so it's disgusting. People went to that game. People in OKC went to that game fully expecting to see full game of LeBron and Luka.
Oh, it's
And
gonna
you
go down the
ejected
wire.
Luka
It's gonna go down
because
the
you
wire.
mistook him for yelling at you. Nobody cares who you are. There's a reason why we don't know your name.
Yep.
There's a reason why
Yep.
we know Luka's name, we know LeBron's name,
Talk
we
to
know
him.
SGA's name.
Talk to him.
We don't know your name.
And
You come in here with a whole uniform on for a reason.
Am I crazy to think that I believe that players shouldn't get thrown out because they talked shit to a ref unless it's like very vulgar, like they threatened them.
Yeah, I agree.
Or like obviously
Oh yeah, you shouldn't
put hands on them.
You should be able to challenge a ref's call.
I really do not think a ref should be able to throw an NBA player out for simply cussing at him. I don't think. Like, you're a grown ass man.
How do you throw out a top 5 player in the league because he hurt your feelings?
Exactly. And then the thing is, you are officiating the 2 teams that are on the court. You are not officiating yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why does it matter if they call you what so and so? Like, why does that matter?
But you're taking it to the extreme with that. There are times where players literally will talk to
they'll even be like,
ref
they'll even be like,
and
just
straight
come
up
on or
and
something
straight
like
up,
that.
they'll straight up be like, come on, that's a ridiculous call.
Yeah.
And you
Or
get
like,
teed
where's
up for
the
that.
foul? And then
you
tee
get
him up.
teed up for that.
Why?
Do you remember the Andre Drummond
Why?
call earlier in the year? The Andre Drummond technical, where the ref literally
Yes.
went into the
Yes,
locker room.
the girl.
Or not went into the locker
It was
room.
the girl ref,
but
right?
she said,
Yeah,
I screwed up.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was classy because they know they screwed up.
Yeah.
I don't know how a ref sits here. Well, one, the Lakers just smoked the Thunder the day before.
Yeah.
Or maybe the night, 2 nights, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
2 nights.
What does getting rid of a top 3 player in a game that is the 2 best teams in the West, in my opinion,
Exactly.
do? What does it do? In the 4th quarter, too, because he said something to a fan, even if you thought it was at you, they're grown men. They are playing for their careers, especially Luka Doncic, who has never won a ring, or the Thunder. Guarantee you, if Shea did not get a call or something, he'd say something too. You want to throw Shea out? No shot.
Like,
No shot. I'm not saying this is targeting at all. It's just like, why are you doing this?
No,
I
and the
just
thing
don't
is, like,
understand. I don't understand.
it's not even the refs' fault. I don't blame the refs for it because it's like when you plant a seed and then it starts blooming everywhere. It's Adam Silver's job to manage this. I understand that as the commissioner, you're not supposed to manipulate things, to place things in certain ways, which David Stern did. We're not going to talk about that. But you're technically not supposed to as the commissioner. You're supposed to let the game go. It's like tale of 2 extremes. Stern was so overbearing over players. It actually was good in a lot of respects. Adam Silver he says he wants to make the product better, but you're watching the product get ruined right before your eyes. It's like it's like walking down an aisle, looking at the can of food you want, and then watching a kid pick it up and throw it on the ground, and that's the last one. You're going to be like, that. The product is ruined because this kid just picked it up. You're the commissioner of the NBA. Get on the phone with every ref and tell them, suck your feelings up, right? Stop complaining. Stop acting like a little kid, egotistical, because you got mad because some player challenged your call. Say that I made the call and I'm standing on it, and the player and tell the player to go back. Right?
Exactly.
Don't tee them up.
Yeah.
I didn't pay tickets to see Luka get ejected because he's not talking to you. Mm-hmm. Stop being your own feelings. So every time this happens, I just shake my head because it's Adam Silver's fault, and I'll keep tooting that horn until he fixes it. But as the commissioner, it is your job and your responsibility to fix the product. If I have to see Luka, I mean, a couple years ago, I saw Jokic get ejected on Serbian night in Chicago. It's Serbian night in Chicago. That night is made for Jokic, and he got ejected because some ref felt some sort of way. And we're talking about Jokic, a guy who barely talks.
Ridiculous.
So it's an epidemic. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And it needs to change.
Yeah. So, the Lakers fall to the Thunder last night, 136 to 120. After defeating the Thunder a couple days ago, 126 to 99. Quick highlight for tonight's game because they go up against Dallas in Dallas. And
can I just say something about the Thunder real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I will say something and pose a question because all I've heard from every analyst on ESPN and everywhere, the Thunder. We gotta talk about the Thunder. And when I say analysts, I'm talking about guys that obviously don't know what they're talking about because they just go with the number one seed. Which of course, you go to number one with the number one seed because they have the best winning record. I can't sit here and say that the Thunder are going to the Western Conference Finals. And Lunga thinks they are. And I keep saying, well, there's a lot of teams that could take the Thunder out. As good as they are, they have a lot of flaws. They don't have a number 2 scorer. They're very young. And I don't trust them in the playoffs. They don't have a lot of experience. So how can I trust them? I could see the Lakers beating them in 4 or 5 games. I could see the Nuggets beating them in a couple games.
Yeah.
Right? There's several teams. I could see Golden State flaming them.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder made it to the Western Conference Finals, and I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't.
Exactly.
Or if they don't.
Exactly.
Because I still think the Thunder are the best team in the West, but I take the Lakers in the series right now.
Oh, no, they earned that title.
This goes back to like episode 4 when we were just like, Thunder are really good, but if you're playing LeBron and Luka in a series, they are going to be shivering in their boots, and the pressure's on them because they are 65-14. They're having one of the best regular seasons in their history. 2 of the best players ever on the other side of the court. They're playing the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Right? A team that won the championship, the MVP, in my opinion, in Nikola Jokic on the other side. You think the Warriors want to go up against Steph and Jimmy in the playoffs? I mean, not the Warriors, the Thunder. The Thunder are a better basketball team than a lot of these guys. But the NBA playoffs, anything could happen, especially when you put into account all this star power.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't surprise me if they lose in round 2. And if they get to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, I don't know, summer day, something at Bay, Lakers in 5.
I can't trust the Thunder because I've seen what happens if Shea doesn't drop 40 in a playoff game. They have no chance. And the playoffs is about superstars. It's about the guys who, it's the stars and the superstars that go another level. Shea, I don't know if he's going to get to another level. And then the next scorer is Jalen Williams. He's not going to another level in the playoffs. So.
No. Moving on to probably the most shocking news of the week in sports. Mike Malone and the Denver Nuggets are no longer. The Nuggets fire Mike Malone.
And Calvin Booth.
After, how many years was it?
Mike Malone, 8, right?
8 or
9.
10 years of service, I think. And then also got rid of Booth. So clearing house, basically, for whatever reason they are clearing the house.
10 years with Denver.
I quickly, when you said it, I was like, that makes no sense. It still makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
They tried to come out and say Jokic was frustrated about the defensive play or whatever, but he wasn't frustrated with Mike Malone.
Well,
so
no, it wasn't even that. It was that, apparently the reports were, number one, the feeling in the franchise was a toxicity. So basically, Carmelo wasn't talking.
Mike Malone.
Carmelo is Carmelo.
Shout out Lunga.
Shout out Lunga. Mike Malone wasn't talking to Calvin Booth. They weren't on speaking terms.
Yeah.
And some of the players didn't like Mike Malone because he was old school and didn't play the young players late in games. Like he didn't have the faith in them.
Yeah.
So because we saw that they're very shorthanded because they don't have a bench at all.
You know what this sounds like? Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I've been waiting to put this in a podcast. Or in this podcast. This sounds exactly like the New York Rangers. I know we don't do hockey, but I cover the Rangers. Blue Line Report, go check it out. The Rangers last year were the best team in the league. Most points. This year, they're going to miss the playoffs because there is not a connection in the locker room. People are mad at the GM and how they got rid of former captain Jacob Trouba and Barclay Goodrow. And now, like head coach just said, I don't go into the locker room after games.
Yeah.
This sounds so much like that because the fact that there's a disconnect when this was a Nuggets team that's, 2 years removed from an NBA championship and has a player, an all-world player, maybe one of the or probably one of the best players to ever exist when it's all said and done in Jokic, and he is never a problem.
Yeah, top 10, top 15.
He's never a problem. And, like, his work ethic sucks. He averages 30, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
And he won you a ring. There's a disconnect. And the Nuggets are going to make the playoffs, and they'll figure it out. The Rangers are not, and screw you guys.
I don't know if they figure it out, honestly. I don't know how you fire
Taylor Jenkins.
a successful coach. Taylor Jenkins, I could see
Taylor
that.
Jenkins to Denver.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know how you fire a successful coach like that. Literally, what are we? Like
3 games
4
before.
days.
Yeah.
We're 4 days away from the postseason. Like 5 days away from the postseason. Like the last preseason game is in like 4 days.
No, this was a toss for the season. This was like well, you know what they said? They said it was supposed to jolt the team, but like that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And it's also, I also recall reading something that they had, they did it for their best chance possible to win a championship this year.
Well, I mean, but see, that's BS. That's BS because
that's
the
total
Grizzlies did the
bullshit.
same thing where they were like, we're trying to maximize Ja. Well, why would you fire your head coach like a week before the playoffs start?
You're not gonna. There's
it's a wash.
in no world has this ever worked out.
That's a wash.
Where
No.
you fire your coach because you want the best chance possible of winning a ring this year, and you go and win the ring. That's never happened.
Never.
I would have
I
understood.
don't think that's ever happened in any sport.
I maybe would have understood
Not
if
this
after
late.
the year.
I mean, the Lakers. Not Lakers. The Cavs fired David Blatt and then hired Ty Lue, and then they won the championship.
Well,
that was like a
mid-season.
week. That was like a week into the
season. That's exactly the point. Like,
that was a week into the season.
Dude, they're literally not going to know what they're doing by the time the postseason comes by. Right now, they're slated to play the Clippers.
If I'm in the locker room, I'm like, what? I'm gonna be like, I have a new coach in 4 days, and we start.
It doesn't make sense.
Also,
regular
one
season
more
series?
Yeah, one more thing to
Or
add.
playoff series?
Like, I'm not questioning the Nuggets leadership core at all. That would be unfair. They have one of the best players. They won a championship. They don't have like a player who's so outspoken who might say to the media, this is what's happening. So all their stuff is going to be internalized, and you're only going to hear from the coach. And look, media members should not go and ask Nikola Jokic, what do you think about this? Or
they're
or
going to.
They
Well, no,
will.
they're good.
They will.
They're
No.
good, Jake.
No. Let me rephrase because I didn't like the way that came out. They're not going to ask him like what were the problems, and they're not going to ask him to take him inside the Nuggets locker room.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They shouldn't ask him because he's not gonna he's obviously not gonna sit there and I feel like honest to God, I feel like Jokic doesn't even know what the problems were.
Yeah, no, he probably doesn't.
I think if he was frustrated, if reports were correct that he was frustrated about whatever play whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like it was just the play, and I think it was really like the roster, the depth of the team. Like they just didn't have depth. Everyone knew that going into this year. Like they didn't have depth,
right? And one more thing before you go, like there's no problem with a coach calling out work ethic, especially in the NBA where it's questioned every day.
Yeah,
and this is a veteran team.
Yeah,
Jokic,
exactly.
At least 8 years in the league. Jamal Murray drafted in 17.
They've been together. Yeah, they've been together for like actually
they've been together
10 years,
for so long.
I think.
Michael Porter Jr., Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, they all won a ring together.
Yeah.
If someone's calling out your work ethic, that might be on you. And you're grown men, so figure it out. And I don't know if they figure it out, but this team's been together for so long. I didn't see a problem with Malone calling him out.
Another thing is like it's okay if you have an off season. Like that's fine.
Jokic wants to go home.
Like it's fine to have an off season. Like
the crazy
things aren't going your way that year. And it's not even that things aren't going their way. They're what? Third?
But see, the crazy thing is firing your
third or fourth.
No, see the
Nuggets?
Yeah,
they're in fifth right now.
They're in fifth.
I still would pick them if the season ended right now. They're going to beat the Clippers in my opinion.
I just.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's not for basketball. It's not for
basketball. You go and reload in the offseason.
No, it's not for on-court issues. It's obviously upstairs. Somebody grew tired of him. Josh Kroenke or whoever, Stan Kroenke. Someone just got tired of him and Booth and said we got to do a rebuild. The thing that it reminded me of was more of a Milwaukee situation.
I know they fired Budenholzer.
You equated it to the Rangers. It's like a Milwaukee thing.
Yeah, and nobody watches hockey anymore.
And the thing is that not scares me, but the next thing that's coming is a new GM who's going to shake up the team. Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to be on the trade block. Aaron Gordon might be on the trade block.
Should be.
So there's going to be a lot of players because Michael Porter Jr., first of all, I was talking about this with, I think, Lunga earlier. It's a waste of money compared to what he's been producing and giving towards the team.
Yeah.
Relative to his salary.
Can I make a scorching hot take?
What?
Kevin Durant to Denver.
Yeah, I heard that before. That's not a bad one.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know if him and Jokic would work, but how sick would that be?
No, that would definitely work.
Those two and Murray.
Anyone is going to work with Nicholas.
Durant can work
Because
with anybody.
What's a Durant trade package? 3 firsts, you throw in MPJ, Braun, and Gordon.
They have
I think
some
Phoenix
picks.
is going to take that if KD wants out.
They
and
have
does,
no.
right?
They have some picks. KPJ, one other small player, then some 2 picks, and then I think Phoenix would go for that.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think Denver is going to make a move.
What about Mike Brown as next coach?
I wouldn't mind that either. I think Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins have to be the 2
hired
guys.
somewhere. Yeah,
those are both
just got rid of him.
My thing is like I wouldn't even want to be an NBA head coach anymore now because it's getting ridiculous. There's a stat up. They posted it yesterday somewhere. It's like the last 5 NBA champions.
All fired.
Four of them are fired. I think Kerr, because Kerr's the only one. 4 of them have been fired. Are no longer. They're no longer either a head coach or they're no longer where they won that ring at.
Dude, there's so many of them, even in the 20th century. Monty Williams, coach of the year, gets fired the next year. Mike Budenholzer wins a ring, gets fired 2 years after.
I wouldn't even want to be. I would not want to be an NBA coach.
Unless you're JB Bickerstaff, because those players love him.
Yeah.
There's only a few coaches are safe. Kerr, Spo,
Tibbs right now. Tibbs is safe. I'll argue that. Tibbs is safe for now.
Well,
no, he could. If Malone's on the block, Tibbs on the block.
Yeah,
maybe.
If we just see Mike Malone get fired, I'm not surprised Knicks get bounced in the first round and they say
First
that
round,
they're firing.
they're out.
And they're saying they're firing Thibodeau.
Even second round, I can see them firing him.
All right.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Coach is safe right now that I can confidently say will be the head coach on day 1 of the opening day next year. Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah.
Kenny Atkinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
JB Bickerstaff.
Kerr,
Steve
JJ
Kerr.
Redick.
JJ Redick.
Steve Kerr.
Spolstra.
No.
He's a made man. He's
Spolstra.
as long as Pat Riley's there, he's keeping him. As long as Pat Riley's there.
Yeah.
Like seriously, are we missing anything else? I mean, Hernandez for the Nets or Fernandez, he'll be there because
that's not guaranteed.
We're talking about contenders.
Udoka.
Yeah, Ime.
Yeah.
But besides that, like
Udoka's safe.
it moves so fast.
I think Mosley's safe in Orlando.
Yeah.
Because they dealt with injuries all year.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, like the bottom line is like they could be safe day 1 by week 3.
Finch,
Mosley
is safe.
They could both be. Well, Finch could be gone.
No, he's not.
Finch
They're the 10th. What are they?
Actually,
The 10th?
Yeah,
They're 7 right now.
He could be gone.
Finch could
I take that
absolutely
back.
be gone.
They traded Cat and Knicks
and Pop. Pop has it as long as they want. Like
he's gonna retire in like a year or two.
Pray to God that he's
I mean, when the
healthy
Spurs get a
and
first round
everything
draft
like that.
pick and you have De'Aaron Fox and Wemby back, the Spurs are a legitimate team.
They said Mike
Maybe not.
Malone.
No, he's
They
legit
said-
one of the-
I see the tweet yesterday. Mike Malone, successor of Popovich. And
That would be awesome. That would be sick.
No, he could be. I mean, you could argue Pop is the GOAT of coaching in the NBA. So
Yeah.
So he's a main man. But who are we talking about? Oh yeah, no. Finch. No, he's not.
No, Finch isn't.
Mosley
Finch,
could be
I take
gone
that
too
back.
next year.
Yeah.
Mosley could be gone.
After, I think, but I don't think they'll fire him
I don't think
before
so.
the season starts. So
No.
he's locked in for day 1 of next year.
Yeah.
They dealt with Paolo was out for half the year. Franz was out for like 2-3
Franz is still
months,
out,
like,
right?
So yeah.
Franz tore his ACL.
But yeah, NBA coaching carousel in the world, it's crazy.
We love you, LeBron.
If you want to be a coach, go to college.
Oh, by the way, Coach Rafi.
No, sorry. One thing we say that.
Yeah.
All the coaches are retiring from college because they don't want to deal with NIL.
Yeah,
Jay
well-
Wright walked away from a program
Jay
where he
Wright.
won
Well,
two.
yeah. Tony Bennett.
Well, yeah, but it's a different story if you've been there for 50 years and you didn't have to deal with all this NIL bullshit and now you're going into it.
Still,
Yes.
I mean, Jay Wright's resume
But
should speak for
if you're
itself
new,
on some level.
Shit, if
though.
you're new, why not? Fuck it. If you know how to sell.
Yeah, no, if you know how to sell, if we're switching to college, yeah, I fully agree. If you know how to sell, you're one of the best coaches in college basketball. You look at Duke, you look at UCLA, you look at Michigan, Dusty May, what he's doing there.
Yeah.
In the NBA,
Shire, I don't know if Shire is doing the. I mean, it's Duke. So.
Yeah, no, we could have that conversation another time.
I don't want to get into college right now, but I was just saying, like, I just wouldn't want to be an NBA coach.
Yeah, in the NBA, dude, LeBron can lose to JJ Redick in a game of checkers, and JJ Redick's out.
Remember, you see what he said? Been saying with Steve Nash on his podcast. He said if he gets a head coaching job, it was not me.
JJ better not take Brown's chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Coach Rafi.
Smart.
Go Cougs.
All right. Favorite segment. Everyone's favorite segment. Tweaker of the week. Let's do it.
I'll start us off.
Yeah, because I don't even know.
Kaman Maluach had the best seats of the game in Duke Houston. This guy is 7'2". He is an NBA lottery pick. He's going to be an absolute stud in the league. 0 rebounds. You're 7'2". I don't care how good Houston is.
Crazy.
0 rebounds. And he's 6 points. I hope you enjoyed the courtside seats. And then he was crying on the way out, as all the Duke players were. He was crushed. I love Kaman Maluach, by the way. Love him. I love it. We talked about that, blah, 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 blah. 0 rebounds. When you're 7'2" and a projected NBA lottery pick.
That's insane.
Not good enough. I'll just leave it at that. And
not
then
good for the stock right
not
there.
good. And then anybody not named Cooper Flag on that Duke team because you all folded. And I gave them love last week.
Yeah.
You guys remember it. I've never given Duke love before. All right, time's a flat circle.
My tweak of the week is Josh Kroenke. Josh Kroenke is the son of Stan Kroenke, who owns the Nuggets.
Damn it, you took mine.
Josh Kroenke is the governor of the Nuggets. If you don't know what the governor is, it's basically the top shareholder, the guy who has the most shares in the team. So he's the head honcho. He basically makes the rules. He's the guy who fired Mike Malone and Calvin Booth, or at least had the final say on it. Yeah, I don't know why you would say that. Also, before I get into the rant, he said after firing Malone and Booth, he said to the team, just have fun. Go out there and have fun. Which, can't really say that after you fire my head coach and my GM 3 games before the playoffs start. So, Josh Kroenke, you are definitely the tweaker of the week because there's absolutely no way that you fired a coach and fired a GM couple days before the playoffs even begin, and you go out there and you give them the Russ treatment. Go out there and have fun. No, don't go out there and have fun. You're out for a championship. You're the 5 seed with the best player in the league. He's one of arguably the best top 20, 25 players of all time, and you're telling him to go out there and have fun. No, it's not fun. It's not fun for Nuggets fans. I don't really care about the Nuggets or the Nuggets fans. They're actually annoying and make me mad, but this makes me even worse. This makes it even worse. That the son of the owner would fire the GM and the coach and think that was the best thing for his team. I don't care how toxic the situation is. You let your coach go to work for the playoffs, and then maybe when the playoffs are over and you don't get to the second round or you don't get to the Western Conference Finals, you say, okay, we're going to start over and we're going to reboot. But you don't do that right now. Absolute idiocracy, right? I could say the same thing for the governor of the Grizzlies, whoever it is.
Wait, what word did you just say? Idiocracy?
Yeah, idiocracy. Idiocy. Why did I say idiocracy?
Bro is getting a journalism degree.
Bro mixed idiocy with
He just got
mediocrity.
nominated to speak at our convocation or commencement, whatever you want to call it. And he just said idiocracy.
I combined 2 words.
Speaking.
Yeah,
I was going on a rant.
It doesn't matter.
Idiocy.
I'm running the UNC for speaker.
I meant to say it's idiocy and this is mediocrity at its best. That's what I was trying to get out. Anyway, thanks for correcting me.
Bro's like Tyler Kolek. Don't know how to read.
Barbecue chicken.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Josh Kroenke, you are the tweaker of the week. Just because you are your daddy's son does not mean you know how to do your
daddy's
job.
son.
Does not know how you mean to do your job.
You're your daddy's son. I'm going to go with...
And just to clarify, Kroenke's a good owner, so I don't know where you got this from.
I'm just going to go with Stephen A. Smith. He's been taking a few L's in the past couple of weeks, and just I feel like flat out embarrassing himself.
Fat L's.
But
Fat
reports came out, I think it was yesterday, that, and I'm going to be quick with this one, but reports came out yesterday that he is seriously considering running for the United States presidency in 2028. I'm just going to say it right now, bro. like it might be cool and all that, like, yeah, there are people tuning into what you're saying politically. At the end of the day, if you really actually run and like do a whole campaign and everything, bro, you're not winning.
He got scared by Braun. He's gonna get blitzed in the politics.
You're not winning the president. Like,
he's gonna get blitzed in politics.
It's not even like debating. It's just like at the end of the day, the nation, more than half of the nation, is not gonna vote for Stephen A. Smith to be president of the United States. Like, that's just not gonna happen.
No, for real.
I seriously, I'm just. Like, you're tweaking. you're tweaking, bro. Like, I'm just keeping it real. Like, no one is gonna vote for him. And it's also like, if I really have to go through, if I'm not even gonna say his name, but if the idiot that we have in the office right now somehow overrules
barbecue chicken,
the two term rule, and we have to sit and watch him versus Stephen A. Smith, that'd
be one of the greatest debates of all time.
I actually seriously might move out of the country.
Hey, he's getting cooked.
We're going to Canada, Will.
And I have no problem with Stephen. I really don't. Like, I've looked up to him as a young journalist. I've looked up to Stephen. But, bro, I don't want to see you trying to become president of the United States.
It's
like,
also the self-propaganda.
Stay in your lane.
It's also the self-propaganda.
Stay in your lane,
Have you noticed how no one's talking about it but him? It only makes
That's what I'm saying.
when he says it on his podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
No one's saying vote for Stephen A. It's him.
Like, it's always him.
Like,
always
nobody
him.
cares.
No one's like, okay, Stephen, what do you have to think about this? No, it's Stephen going on the shows and voicing his opinion. And it's like, no one asked for that.
Yeah.
No one asked for that. So, yeah, I don't know. That's mine for the week.
That's a very valid tweaker of the week.
And then especially just with all the LeBron stuff that happened.
We should just make
you
LeBron king.
You got LeBron to post a meme about you, bro. Like, punching bags.
Yeah.
So
that's a hilarious post.
So yeah, that's mine. But time to wrap this thing up.
Sure.
That is all for episode 16. Of course, as always, run up socials: Instagram, TikTok.
Go Gators.
We had previews for all the Final Four teams and Natties, so go watch those if you haven't. I need to clip, so I will do that for like the past 2 episodes and clip stuff for TikTok. We'll have those on Reels too at some point. But yeah, always like, comment, subscribe. Comment what Luka's going to do to Dallas. You don't even got to go numbers. Comment what Luka Doncic is going to do to the Dallas Mavericks tonight.
Mm-hmm. Absolute waste.
And if you're watching it after, give us
let's do that too. If you're watching it after, you're gonna
just give us your finals predictions straight off the bat.
Yeah,
and throw any comment in there too. Throw
NBA
anything.
finals predictions. Yeah. You can always throw in a tweaker of the week if you want to.
Comment on Blake's outfit. Comment on the Gators. Like comment on anything. Spread the love. Show your friends.
Spread the love. Share on your social media. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your grandmas. And yeah, as always, stay fly.
Sir.